like put together in one file, so we sent you the unedited version. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what would you like to do?
I think Ale has the edited version ready to go, if she could send it.
Do you want to try to play it from your screen?
I don't know where Ale is, because I don't have it.
Oh, hi, Ali.
Oh, she's there, Ale.
Do you want to try to play it from your screen? Let me just ask you, did you folks put together a Kahoot quiz?
Oh no, were we supposed to?
Yeah, it was in the rubric. Did anybody else put together a Kahoot quiz? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was in the rubric, but okay. So what do you want to do? Do you want to play it try to play it from your screen? I have to tell you, I don't mind that you forgot it because I forgot to record it. So I will say, so thank you. Actually, they did that on purpose because they knew that I was going to forget to record because I'm not thinking clearly right now. So good job. What would you like to do? Do you want to, how long is your skit?
It's 10 minutes, so
what we can do is, can we go after the next group?
Yes, yes, of course. Of course. All right, who wants to
we'll
try to
just
go?
play after this part, so if that works.
That's fine. That's fine. You know,
Okay.
2020, no problem. All right, who wants to go next? Allie, what group are you?
We're the keto diet.
Okay.
I can share my screen.
Yes.
Just give me 1 second. Can you see it?
Yep.
Ha! That's off the
Group one.
Okay, hello everyone. So Allie and Kat and I did the keto diet. And so we kind of did this in 3 separate sections. The first part is just a little bit about the like historical context of keto, and then what actually happens while on keto. And then the third part is post keto. So here's the background. Basically, this all started with different testing to figure out how to calm down seizures in epileptic children. So in 1911, some doctors decided to try starvation, using that to treat 20 children and adults with extreme epilepsy. And they found that the seizures were actually much less extreme. And then in 1921, 2 doctors followed that and reported that they were also seeing the seizure improvement, and it could be seen as soon as 2 to 3 days after beginning the fast. And then also in 1921, there were a bunch of different tests going on at once, but Dr. Wilder noted that the benefits of the fasting could be acquired if the ketonemia was assembled by other means, so getting actually into the keto diet rather than just the starvation. And then in 1940, the use of the ketogenic diet on patients was recorded in almost every textbook on epileptic children. And then in 1972, out of 1,000 epileptic patients, 52% had complete control over their seizures and 27% had improved control. But then the use of the fasting and the keto diet actually went down after this, just due to the actual drugs that they found that could help to cure the epilepsy. Well, not cure, but help and calm down the epilepsy.
Yeah, so now I'll explain what's happening while you're on the keto diet. So to start, we'll talk about the process. So it's been found that if you restrict your carbs to about 50 grams per day, it actually produces the same effects as fasting. So that's what Marissa was talking about. And it decreases the glucose supply to the liver, muscles, and the brain. This deteriorates the amount of glucose that's stored as glycogen. And with that limited supply of glucose, the body begins a process called gluconeogenesis, which is when the body generates glucose from non-carbohydrate carbon substrates. And then the concentrations of insulin in the body are very low, and this decreases the fat and glucose storage stimulus. And then your body enters what is called ketosis, and that's when the body uses fat cells to form ketone bodies and then uses them for energy rather than relying on carbs. And the body begins burning fat from using the fat cells. And so the acetoactic acid is turned into beta hydroxybutyric acid and acetone, which provides the body with energy. So that's kind of the process. And people gain instant confidence in this diet specifically because they see really fast and significant results. But this is often just from the connection between water retention and carbohydrates. So there's about 4 grams of water for each gram of stored glycogen. So as the body begins drawing on that glycogen storage, water sheds rapidly. This can also be called diuresis, which is increased urination that also occurs while you're with the depletion of glycogen. And this can signal abnormal amounts of ketones in the urine, which results from enhanced renal sodium and water loss. So those effects are kind of just from losing water, and that's why people see such instant results. And so there's also problems associated with this diet. It can lead to a strain on the liver, kidneys, and even overwhelm the renal system. And this usually occurs if you're on the diet for too long, or if you're continuously making the wrong food choices. So one doctor explained that it's not always the diet necessarily to blame, but rather the food choices that people make while they're on the diet. So choosing butter or similar fat-based substitutes over consuming meat and fish, especially red processed meat. Bacon was one of the examples used because this can be dangerous, leading to fatty liver disease or cardiovascular disease. So it's definitely important to be careful of the choices that you make on the diet. And then an extreme example was the death of the famous Indian actress Mishti Mukherjee. So without the proper hydration or if on the diet for too long, the acids that result from burning fat can cause the blood to become overly acidic. And unfortunately, the dangers that we've mentioned thus far were all too serious for this actress, and she died from kidney failure while on the keto diet.
So now we're going to talk a little bit more about the transition post-keto. So essentially, it's restriction in action. You're eliminating all these different types of groups of foods, especially carbs, to 5% of your caloric daily intake. So what's the problem with this? We understand that the number one reason that those who experiment with keto that gain the weight back post-diet is because they have been restricting these foods. So once they add them back, their body becomes shocked again, just as it was when it went into ketosis and they lost all that weight. So as soon as one adds back these foods other than fats and protein, the body reacts instantly and uses other things such as fat, aka carbs, for energy. So we did a lot of research about many of the crazy claims that go around versus the actual truth of the diet. And some of the claims are that benefits of keto as it relates to reduction of inflammation in the brain, improves outcomes after brain injury, and extending lifespan. So this study has only been done on mice, as has the study as treating inflammation after having a stroke. A professor induced a mice into a ketogenic state. And yes, it said it was blocking the glucose metabolism and it worked to suppress inflammatory genes. But this is just a clinical trial done on a mouse. So there's no science truly behind the diet that claims that keto results in euphoria and cognitive boosts and improvements in anything from kidney function to cancer treatment, because the studies for long-term on humans have not been there. The diet hasn't been around long enough, and there haven't been enough clinical trials to really prove this science. So in order to end your ketogenic journey, you must understand ketosis is going to alter your physical and mental state, because you're essentially getting these quick results and you're gonna feel better. But for a lot of people, they start to feel better because they're eating healthier foods that they weren't eating prior, as well as a lot of people, when they lose a significant amount of weight in a short time, they feel better mentally because they look better. But the adverse impact of adding more whole foods back into your diet is that after being ketosis, you're going to gain this weight and you're going to bloat and your blood sugar is going to spike. But a risk associated with the diet is a nutrient deficiency. Since you're not consuming more vegetables, fruits, especially grains, this is going to lead to deficiencies in selenium, magnesium, phosphorus, and vitamins B and C. And then this is just a little personal anecdote that Professor shared with me. And it's talking about how long it takes to get into keto adaptation, because a lot of studies say that it could take months, but she sent me a reliable source and it says that it can happen really rapidly. So this is Kevin C. Platt. So now we have our Kahoot.
Do you want to tell folks how to, I mean, we need to log into Kahoot, right?
Yeah, if you click on the link, Marissa,
Oh, okay.
does it pull up the code? I think it should. It's loading.
I mean, everybody had the instructions for the Kahoot, so, you know, if you can just play with it.
Yeah, I don't know why, Allie, this is what it said last night.
Okay, yeah, maybe I'll share my screen and try it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see.
Get this one screen off of here.
Have any of you used Kahoot quizzes before? Okay, do you want to, so Gabby, do you just want to remind folks how we get into it?
Yeah, you usually just go on the link and there's going to be a code that you type in that everyone that's playing types.
Okay,
Like the
this
game
should-
thing, yeah, there it is.
I think this should be it.
Okay.
So if you go to kahoot.it, and then type in this pin. Yeah, there you go. Nope, this works.
Okay, so we'll give like another minute for folks to get in. If you don't get in on this quiz, you can get in on the next one. I don't know how long things are going to take, so whenever you're ready to start it. Do you want to explain? Okay, there we go.
This one was hard.
Mm. Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. So this is the first time, just FYI, I have ever had a Kahoot quiz done in my class. So you guys get kudos for being the guinea pigs. My suggestion for Kahoot quizzes is read the question to the class for my benefit, so that I know there are people still out there. Just read the question so that I can hear that are people out there. And maybe that's just because I'm used to hearing my voice all the time. And when I don't hear a voice, I think everybody's gone. But thank you. Can I just make a couple comments? Well, I guess so. I'm the professor. So I think it was really good to comment on how the keto diet was originally used for epilepsy. That's what it actually today can still be shown in people who have the most resistant form of epilepsy. It's not clear yet, unless, well, I might have missed it, why the ketones can cross the blood-brain barrier and help with seizures when other medications haven't. But it's usually the last resort because it is so strict that the diet has to go on. And the other thing that one of the reasons why people put weight back on when they go off these keto or low carb diets also is because we store carbohydrate with water. So that when you put that carb back in your glycogen stores, it's also being stored with water, in addition to the excess calories. So, okay, thank you. So Jordan, what's your group?
So we are doing the Atkins diet, so another kind of carb-related diet. And we're doing a panel, so we're all going to kind of talk about our experiences with the diet.
Yeah, so I could pick up from there. So I'm going to introduce everyone. So the panel is going to work as I'm going to ask a series of questions. I am the dietitian here, and I'm just going to ask my panel of ladies what exactly went on during the diet and how it went for them. So if you ladies want to start introducing yourselves.
Hello, I'm Juliana, and I'm a D1 college student athlete.
Hi. Oh. Hey, I'm Jordan. I'm a recent college graduate with a full-time job.
I'm Katie, and I'm a housewife with a lot of time on my hands.
And I'm Izzy, and I'm a busy college student.
All right, well, it's nice to meet all you ladies. So I'm going to ask you a few questions, and we'll go from there. So why did you try the Atkins diet, and why didn't you try other diets?
So I wanted to try and see if cutting carbs and increasing my protein intake would help me to better tone my body and make me lose weight, which is the reason why a lot of people want to go on the diet. So that's why I chose it.
I personally had read online on the Atkins website that there were many benefits to exercising while on this diet. They claimed on the website that working out on a low-carb diet can help you reach and maintain your optimal weight and fitness level, which inspired me to give the diet a shot.
Similarly to Jordan, I also wanted to see if decreasing my carb intake and increasing protein would help me lose weight. I have a lot of time on my hands to fully focus on the diet, so I definitely wanted to give it a try.
And I've been wanting to lose weight for a while. I don't really love to exercise that much. And because I'm so busy with my schoolwork and I live in a dorm, I don't have a lot of space to cook. My mom was on the Atkins diet and she lost weight, so she recommended that I try it too.
All right. Well, it seems like you guys had some aspirations for the diet. So I'm going to ask you another question to follow up. How did this diet affect your lifestyle and well-being?
So this diet was really intensive and required me to be very aware of the amounts of carbs I was consuming at every stage of the diet. And this was really difficult, especially if I was eating out with friends or I was in my busy schedule. I didn't always have time to look up and see how many carbs were in the things that I was cooking or eating out. So that was sort of hard for me to keep track of, and it was really stressful for me.
Like Jordan said, the diet was very extreme, especially at the beginning because of the strict cut in carbs. The cut in carbs impacted my ability to perform optimally in sports because I did not have the sufficient energy during my intense lacrosse conditioning. As a result, I began to feel very fatigued and experience headaches and muscle cramps.
Yeah, like these other girls said, the first week was definitely an adjustment, cutting out bread, pasta, and other carbs. However, as time went on and I stayed dedicated to my diet, my body got used to it and I felt better each day. I've always liked the foods featured in the diet, like vegetables, all kinds of meat, and eggs. I've also never been a big sugar girl with ice cream and soda, so staying away from those sugary foods has not been a huge issue for me. I also work out daily.
For me, being a college student, I was already used to eating quick and cheap foods that aren't very healthy, but now I'm able to throw a delicious meal right into the microwave and know that I'm losing weight. I'm really happy with this Atkins diet because I'm able to eat the foods that I used to eat, just the low-carb versions, and some of my favorite meals are the lasagna and the chicken Alfredo.
So it sounds like some of you guys had to make some of drastic changes to your lifestyle. So I'm going to ask you another question. How hard was this diet to maintain?
So because I have food allergies to dairy and gluten, I found it really hard to stay away from certain foods and find different substitutions. A lot of times when the diet would recommend that I have a dairy item, I couldn't always have that. And so before I started the Atkins diet, I would eat a lot more rice and potatoes to sort of supplement that. But I found it a little more difficult to find things that aligned with what I could eat already and what fit with the diet.
This diet has definitely been tough to maintain because whenever I do have any type of carbs, I would gain the weight I've lost back. But I do really enjoy the foods in the diet, so that is why I definitely think it hasn't been extremely, extremely hard for me to maintain.
Diet was difficult for me to maintain because of the intense training that I was doing for lacrosse. As I said before, the cut in carbs impacted my ability to perform to my best ability during conditioning because I did not have that energy from the carbs. Additionally, because of all the calories I was burning, I wanted to fuel up on carbs after my workouts. However, the diet restricted this and that left me feeling very hungry. And this altogether left me feeling mentally and physically drained.
For me, similar to what Katie said, the diet isn't always easy to maintain because I sometimes like to have a cheat meal and then I would see some weight gain. But I buy a lot of the foods at the grocery store in the freezer section. So as long as I make sure to plan ahead, then I always have the foods that I need to eat.
So it sounds like this diet was not the easiest thing to stick to. Did you see any benefits in the Atkins diet for you ladies?
For me, and
No, go ahead, Katie.
For me, in my first 2 weeks, I was able to lose around 15 pounds. I also tend to have high blood pressure and high blood cholesterol, which runs in my family. but I just went to the doctors and my pressure and cholesterol levels were a lot lower than usual, which is definitely very exciting.
Personally, I did not see the benefits that the Atkins diet website claimed I would. The website claims that exercising on this low-carb diet builds and maintains healthy muscles, bones, and joints, enhances work, recreation, and sport performance, and improves psychological well-being. However, I did not experience any of these benefits, and I do not think the diet is a good fit for high-intensity athletes from my personal experience.
I think one benefit of the diet has been just being more aware of what was going into my body. It's always a good thing to know sort of what you're eating and how much of everything you're eating. I also felt that I was able to integrate more protein and animal protein into my diet. I wouldn't normally go for chicken or animal protein items, but I felt that with the Atkins diet, that was sort of what I ended up drifting towards, and I found that I've had a lot more muscle build growth.
And for me, I am very happy that I lost 10 pounds in 6 months of doing the diet. I also have a family history of high blood pressure and diabetes, so because I'm still young, I hope that this diet will help me to be healthy in the future.
So we had some good and bad experiences here. So final question, would you guys recommend this diet to friends and family?
I would say
How I feel.
I would say not unless that person is able to maintain this diet as a lifelong lifestyle. Because with any carb diet, even in the last stage of the Atkins diet, it's in the maintenance phase. So you have to continue to maintain your carbohydrate intake, and it can be really stressful, especially on someone who might have already, food restrictions, or it's really important to make sure that you do research before you start any diet to make sure that it's going to be right for you and not cause you any mental distress. Or if you have problems with food, I would not recommend starting a diet either.
I definitely agree with Jordan, and I definitely would not recommend it to anybody who didn't have very similar habits that I do. But I do say it's worked for me because I really do like the food that is in the diet. So if other people, if my friends and family also like that kind of food, then I would definitely recommend it. And also if they want to lose weight, then I would also.
Like Jordan said, it is important to choose a diet that fits your lifestyle. Therefore, I would not recommend this diet to athletes or people with other underlying health conditions, because it is likely not the diet that will help them meet their dietary needs, and it could cause some health risks additionally to that. Overall, I would recommend to my friends and family that they do not follow any fad diets in general, but instead focus on eating a balanced diet of carbs, protein, and fats in order to maintain a healthy diet over a long period of time.
For me, because I'm so happy with my results, I recommend the diet to my friends. I've seen so many diets on social media that all focus on so many different things, and it can be really confusing. All of the foods that I see, they look delicious, but these diets are usually so expensive that for me as a college student, I would never be able to afford them. On the Atkins diet, you can buy the foods at the grocery store, and it's great because the company is also very well established compared to all these fad diets that are showing up on social media. And also, I think that it's perfect for busy people because you don't have to change your lifestyle. You just have to replace the foods you're eating with the Atkins versions.
All right, well, there you have it, everyone. So we had some good and bad experiences, but before you ever get yourself into a diet, just do the research. Make sure it's healthy and good to maintain and safe. I'm a dietitian and I would know. So there you have it, guys.
Right, thank you. Now, did you guys do a Kahoot?
Yes, we made one. I think it's probably easiest if I share my screen.
Can
And
I ask a favor of the group? I know that you put time into the Kahoots, but because of technical difficulties, I want to make sure I have time to go through everybody. How about if we pause on the Kahoot quizzes, and if there's time at the end, we'll do them? Does anybody feel bad about that?
That works.
Anyone? I do appreciate the effort. Everybody will get credit for doing it. I won't hold it against you, because this is the first time we're doing this, so everybody gets COVID credit. All right, so the next group, TB12, Scarlett.
We're gonna do a little skit and then I'll share my screen for the presentation part.
Yeah, so we're doing a skit and I'll set the scene. So we are in the bookstore and I am buying a book and Julia's the cashier and Georgia and Scarlett have recently purchased the book. I'm really excited to buy this book. I've heard really good things about the TB12 method.
I recently purchased that book.
So did I.
Oh, really? What did you guys think about it?
I love it so far. I'm a diehard Brady fan. He's the best quarterback of all time. So if it works for him, why wouldn't it work for me?
Is it worthwhile?
I struggle to follow the diet. It takes so much time and resources, and I think it's really hard to prepare the meals if you don't have a personal chef.
Oh, wow. Well, I heard that he focuses a lot on hydration, and I really need to work on drinking more water. I'm going to give it a try, though.
Hi, did you find everything you needed today?
Yes, I'm really excited about this book.
Great, let me know if you like it. I'm always looking for a new diet to try.
Will do. I'm really curious about the science behind it. I wish there was somewhere I could find out more about the science behind all of it.
So now we'll get into our presentation.
So to start things off, Scarlett, Sarah, Georgia, and I did this project on the TB12 diet. And since Sarah has now bought her book and is looking for more information, we're here to introduce this diet to the class and also help Sarah learn a little bit more about the book she just bought.
So first we'll introduce the TB12 diet and what it entails and how it works. And then we will also dive into the science behind each piece of his diet. And lastly, we will provide anecdotal evidence and experiences to further analyze how the diet has worked for individuals.
The TB12 method is primarily a plant-based diet that consists of anti-inflammatory and alkaline foods. Anecdotal evidence suggests that it is effective for weight loss and sports performance, but the diet is complex and may be unsustainable for the long term. The diet consists of 20% lean meat or wild-caught fish, while the remaining 80% comprises mainly fruit and vegetables, as well as whole grains and legumes. These foods should be minimally processed, organic, locally grown, not genetically modified, hormone-free, and non-inflammatory.
So for some highlights of the diet, we outlined here, it's eat as much real organic food as possible, eat mostly vegetables, eat seasonally and locally, avoid refined carbs, limit dairy, salt, and unhealthy fats, limit nightshades, alcohol, and caffeine, and eat alkaline to help reformat your body's pH. So most of these seem really reasonable, but when you get into the nightshades and the alkaline components, we found that they're heavily contested and seem like a pseudoscience.
So the first piece is plant-based. The TB12 method doesn't eliminate all meats, but it promotes a diet that's 80% plant-based and 20% meat-based. Plant foods included in the diet are vegetables, fruits, whole grains, and legumes, and avoiding any processed foods. The meats included are lean, organic, hormone-free, GMO-free, and meats and seafood, and this avoids dairy and cheese. Research into the science behind plant-based is overwhelmingly positive. An article published by Harvard Medical School reiterates the health benefits it may have, which includes lowering risk of diseases and many cancers. It also offers all necessary proteins, carbs, fats, minerals, and vitamins, with the exception of vitamin B12, which is naturally found in animal products, but that's not a worry in this diet because meat-based foods are still included.
And then as far as the hydration component of the diet, he really wants to, his words are, he wants to optimize hydration. So the first guideline is your daily water intake should be half your body weight in ounces. The second is that first thing when you wake up in the morning, drink 20 ounces of water with his TB12 electrolytes. And then the third one, which isn't as specific, says that he just wants you to frequently replenish your fluids with his water electrolytes combination throughout your workout. So in our research, we found a lot of issues with his claims. In his book, he talks about how he thinks he's the most hydrated person in the world, which obviously is not true. And he makes many claims that are just not scientifically backed up. The most ludicrous one was that the more hydrated you are, the less likely you are to get sunburn. And then involving his electrolytes, electrolytes are beneficial, like in theory, especially for athletes. However, his electrolytes raise a lot of red flags. The first being that he says it will, it contains 72 trace minerals that will help replenish and refuel your body. And when you look on the bottle, there are only 17 ingredients listed. And also in one article I read, a dietitian said that even in your most intense workout, you're not losing 72 minerals from the body. And so replenishing minerals you haven't lost can be potentially very dangerous. A frequent or a fairly common statement in the articles and the research we did is that all the athletes and celebrities who are following his diet just assume that hydration is helping them lose weight and perform better, when really they don't understand the science behind it. And it goes back to the correlation does not mean causation thing that we talked about in class.
Speaking to nightshades and inflammatories, nightshades are a part of the plant family Solanaceae, and some claims associate nightshades with inflammation, but according to several articles from the Mayo Clinic, as well as certain takes from dietitians, these claims are purely anecdotal and are not supported by any evidence. Brady in his book mentions the supposed importance of limiting the use of nightshades that include alkaloid solanine, claiming that these foods might cause inflammation in the form of arthritic symptoms and may disrupt calcium metabolism. He also stresses the fact that he rarely eats dark shaded vegetables, and the limitation of nightshades is essential for success on his diet. But research shows that while what you can eat affects the levels of C-reactive protein, which is just a marker for inflammation, like in the blood, foods linked to inflammation are less of these nightshades and vegetables that Brady talks about, and more processed foods, things including like dairy, gluten, processed sugars. And to combat this type of inflammation, institutions like the Mayo Clinic recommend that people following any diet looking to help with inflammation, eat whole natural foods. Also, they recommend eating foods rich in antioxidants, which is interesting because all of the foods that Brady suggests avoiding, like tomatoes, eggplants, and mushrooms, all contain significant amounts of free radical fighting properties. So anyone on the TB12 diet has to work around the contradicting suggestions. So Brady's basis for these food recommendations and his reasoning behind avoiding inflammatory foods has to do with his opinion that eating alkaline, 80% alkaline to be exact, will help change his body's pH. which, as we've learned in class, is false. Many nutritionists aren't against increasing supposed anti-inflammatory foods. Whether or not certain foods are anti-inflammatory has to be investigated and is being investigated still. But to claim that foods alter your pH, like Brady does consistently throughout his book, is a red flag to nutritionists and should be a red flag to people looking at this diet. And here we have a quote from Brady, and he says, by following a nutritional regimen of 80% alkaline and 20% more acidifying foods, I try to keep my body in a naturally alkaline state, which, as we've just talked about, is not true and does not happen. The body works hard to maintain homeostasis, and the blood, once food reaches your stomach and into the intestines, your body works to maintain like a neutral pH.
Now, I'm going to talk about the anecdotal evidence we found on the diet. Basically, if it works for Tom Brady, it must work for me, right? So our key findings were very interesting. First of all, you have the founder, Tom Brady. Another famous quote is, what you put in is what you get. The biggest piece of evidence that Tom Brady demonstrates is his 40-yard dash time. So the pre-TB12 method, when Tom Brady was first drafted in 2000, he ran a 40-yard dash time of 5.28 seconds. And then post-TB12 method in 2017, Brady ran a 5.17 40-yard dash. So at age 39, after 6 Super Bowl rings, he was running faster than ever. So Brady credits this age-defying accomplishment to the TB12 method and the TB12 diet. It was interesting when we looked to see the opinions of average people who tried the diet. One that stood out to me was Amelia Robertson, an opinion writer and a mom. She said that during my 2 weeks of eating TB12 performance meals, I learned that I did not have what it takes to cook like Brady. Making the meals was more exhausting than enjoyable. I did discover a new appreciation for plant-based meals. However, each meal filled me up without using meat. And I'll be sure to definitely seek out easier vegan recipes in the future. And finally, the TB12 diet is widely accepted and endorsed through the power of celebrity appeal. Tom Brady and the entire TB12 organization have the money, power, and personality to make nutrition claims that are not backed up by scientific evidence. Like I asked earlier, if it works for Tom Brady, will it work for me? Overall, yes, it is a healthy diet, but there's no evidence that we need to go to all those extremes.
We'll pass on that.
Okay, that's it then. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I did just want to make a comment about the things that I find that are not reasonable, and that's telling people they have to buy GMO-free, hormone-free, and organic. I don't think that that's reasonable. It's financially limiting for many people. It's not necessarily something that needs to be watched out for, and it's something that I'll talk about when we talk about is organic healthier. So, okay, alcohol. Are you ready? And thank you. I wouldn't tell Tom Brady how to play football. I don't think he should tell people how to eat. That's my bottom line. Stay in your lane. Is alcohol ready, or do Health Halo people want to go? Oh, okay.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to share my screen.
Oh, yes, it's a
Hopefully
ongoing challenge.
the volume works. Sorry, can you guys hear that?
No.
I don't know. Okay. I sent you a link. It should work there too in your email.
All right. I can. Do you see it that when you switch that it says allow computer sound? That there's when you.
I didn't see the notification.
Okay. All right. Well, I can try to play it. Well, I figure this out. Does Health Halo want to go? Hello. Tyra, do you want to stop sharing your screen and I'll look for the link? We're stuck.
I don't know how to exit sharing my screen. Okay, sorry.
There you go. Why don't I check that out? Are Health Halo people ready? Jackie, are you?
We emailed you our video if you don't mind playing it from your screen, Professor.
All right, I feel so responsible. Let me go back to my mail. And let me know if you can not hear it. Somebody send me a message if you, let me know, Jackie, if you can or can't hear it.
Welcome to this week's episode. Today is an exciting day for us here at the Nutrition News Network, also known as the Triple N, as we will be tackling your health halos and nutrition myths. Here today, I have with me my co-host, Jackie Katz, to help us tackle and debunk this problem.
Thank you, Christy, for the introduction, and hello to everyone watching at home. As if we did not have enough problems in 2020 thus far, we are being deceived and with information from companies who want to pick our pocket and have us fall for their diet fads. As consumers, we have information being presented to us daily on various channels, mainly social media, but as well as the packaging of products.
Many people today seem to associate a gluten-free diet with healthy living and a way to lose weight. But now let's take a look at this video from our network partner, Jimmy, who interviews puzzled gluten-free supporters.
What is gluten? What is this thing you will not eat? So we're going to meet a person who doesn't eat gluten, and together we're going to guess if they know what gluten is. Are you ready? Yeah! What else do you have to do? All right, let's begin.
Do you maintain a gluten-free diet?
I do indeed.
And what is gluten?
Okay, does he know what gluten is? No. Well, everyone says no.
Well, as far as for me, how it affects my body,
But what is gluten?
this is pretty sad because I don't know.
We're 0 for 1. But I hate it, and I know it. Next.
Do you maintain a gluten-free diet?
I do.
What is gluten?
All right, does this shirtless gentleman know it? Yes, okay.
Gluten's in bread. It's a flour derivative, wheat, things like that.
It's a flour derivative?
Right. It's like bread, things like that, pastries.
It's in those things?
Yeah, it's in those things.
But what is it exactly?
Gluten is it's like a grain, right?
I like when he coughed. It's like...
Wow, we can clearly tell that there is a gap in the narrative that is being sold to us and the actual benefits and consequences of such a lifestyle. Well, we have great stuff in store for you guys today. We have our panel of experts, including Doctors Ravder, Ho, and Pronin. They are here to break down some health halos and myths we may have about certain foods while in the grocery store.
All right, first up is Dr. Ravder, otherwise known as the gluten guru. He has dedicated 15 years to research gluten and its effects on the human body. He is most known for his book called Gluten Tales that hit the stores 2 years ago today.
Hello everyone, Dr. Ravder here. Now, upon walking through any grocery store, you're likely to find the common label reading gluten-free. I'm sure that in 2020, most people are familiar with the gluten-free trend, reported positive benefits in engaging in it. However, what most people likely don't know is that much of the information revolving around gluten is not only inaccurate, but that by following a gluten-free trend, you can incur numerous health consequences.
I've definitely heard of it, and I actually know a few friends myself who are trying it. Can you talk a bit about where this trend began?
Of course. So it began just a few years ago as multiple other healthy fads were popular. Gluten likely became demonized due to its negative effect it has on a small percent of the population. Specifically, people with celiac disease have a negative immune reaction that is triggered by the ingestion of gluten. However, this only affects around 1% of the population, though a larger number of people have something known as gluten sensitivity, in which they experience symptoms even if their celiac disease test results are normal. Because of this, gluten became demonized by the public eye, and many have sought to improve their health by eliminating gluten-containing foods such as wheat, barley, and rye from their diets. In fact, in 2014, 63% of Americans believed that a gluten-free diet would improve their mental or physical health.
I mean, we definitely saw that in the video that we just played, but is there any truth to this fad? Will going gluten-free make me healthier?
Sadly, no. So there is no legitimate evidence stating that a gluten-free diet will improve a person's health or mind. Actually, it's the opposite. There are numerous downsides to participating in such a restrictive diet. One of the key consequences is that gluten-free foods tend to have less beneficial macronutrient contents. Many commercially prepared gluten-free snacks and bakery products tend to be higher in sugar and fat while being lower in protein and fiber. As you can see from the health information of Snyder's pretzels, the gluten-free option contains the same amount of calories while boasting more fat and sodium and less fiber and protein. Because of this, several studies found a correlation between the gluten-free diet and weight gain and obesity. Couple this with the fact that the average American diet is already lacking in fiber, and you have a huge problem. Macronutrients aren't the only place where gluten-free diets are lacking, however. They also tend to be less nutrient dense in terms of vitamins and minerals. Gluten-free foods tend to be lower in folate, thiamine, riboflavin, and niacin, which are generally found in their gluten-containing counterparts due to enrichment. Looking back to the pretzels, you can see that the gluten-free option only contains a small amount of calcium, whereas the regular pretzels contain numerous vitamins, including thiamine, iron, and folate.
That's all great, but the gluten-free options in stores are generally more expensive. Why would people pay more for something that's worse?
That's the problem. Now, because of the health halo surrounding products with gluten-free on the label, gluten-free foods also tend to be much more expensive than their alternatives. Therefore, many people feel coerced into spending an unnecessarily large amount on them just in the name of their health. Now, given all this information, it's generally advised that unless you specifically respond poorly to gluten, you should not avoid it, but instead focus on improving your diet as a whole to improve your health.
Wow, thank you so much for that information, Doctor. I hope this resonates with our viewers at home. Next up, we have Dr. Ho, who will compare milk and plant-based milk alternatives. She is highly recognized in the nutrition industry for her accomplishments on sustainability and plant-based food and drink products.
Hi everyone. So as many of you may know, more people now than ever are looking to decrease their animal products consumption and switch into plant-based products. This is due to a high interest in improving health, food sustainability, and climate impacts. Among the most requested products is plant-based milk alternatives, which includes almond, coconut, soy, rice, and oats. Now let's dive right into this comparison between bovine milk, or otherwise known as cow milk, and plant-based milk. So bovine milk contains a complex mixture of nutrients essential for infants to grow and survive, such as proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and minerals. Natural bovine milk contains around 3 to 4% fat, where it's usually fractionated to obtain skim, 1%, 2% whole milks, or other various kinds of cream. And furthermore, bovine milk is prone to microbiological contamination and growth, which is why most people consume milk within 1 week or so after opening. In terms of nutrition, milk is a rich source of energy, macronutrients, and micronutrients. A recent study of milk concludes that scientific evidence supports that milk and dairy products contribute to meet nutrient recommendations, may protect against the most prevalent chronic disease, and has few adverse effects.
Wow, so how does this compare to plant-based milk? There's this perception that it's supposed to be healthier and more nutritious for you. Is that true?
So it really all depends. The nutritional content of plant-based milk differs variably depending on the raw materials and manufacturing operations used to prepare them. In general, almond, coconut, rice, and rice milk have higher calorie contents than bovine milk, whereas soy milk has a lower calorie content. Soy and almond milks have similar protein contents to bovine milk, but rice and coconut milk have significantly lower levels, and the sugar content of almond, coconut, and rice milks are considerably higher than bovine milk. There are also differences in amino acid compositions, where certain plant-based milks lack in essential amino acids. And as of now, there are few long-term studies on the impacts of replacing bovine milk with plant-based milks. epidemiology studies have shown that there can be potential negative nutritional effects if you don't attain the correct balance of essential vitamins and minerals, especially vitamin A and D, calcium, and protein. So this is why you can't group plant-based milks altogether into the same category, as their nutrient composition really differs. So all in all, it's very important for people to read the product labels to check their nutritional profiles.
That's very interesting. And you mentioned before that people switch to plant-based milks because it's friendly or more friendly to the environment. Are we making the world a little bit better by making this switch?
So although researchers have found that dairy milk indeed has the biggest overall negative impact on the environment due to high energy requirements, fossil fuel utilization, and pollution due to rearing cows, the cumulative energy demand and global warming potential of plant-based milks are somewhat higher than dairy milk. This is mainly due to plant-based milk spending longer in the retail store's fridge. So I think on the environmental front, it is better if we make that switch to minimize energy and pollution impacts and to overall decrease the cumulative impact for plant-based milks.
Wow, that is something I have never even thought about and considered myself. Thank you for sharing your information and research. Now, to wrap up today's segment, we have Dr. Pronin. She is most recognized for her outstanding work with nutritional youth. She will delve further into the healthy ice cream craze we've been seeing all over our grocery stores today.
Hi, everyone. So in the US, ice cream is an $11 billion market. Whether we're young or old, we as a country clearly love this creamy indulgence. Recently, we've been seeing more and more new brands promising a healthier alternative to this sweet treat. One of these companies is Halo Top. It's one of the first of these brands that sells ice cream on having fewer calories, higher protein, and less sugar than the traditional ones. In 2017, the company became the #1 selling pint of ice cream in the US, beating out long-withstanding ice cream industry giants. With the immense popularity the company has had in the last 3 years, a lot of my clients have been asking if this light ice cream is truly good for them or if it's just a gimmick.
Not to mention, I've seen Halo Top cost anywhere between from $5 to $8 in some convenience stores, and the company has been known to promote eating a pint in a sitting because nutritionally, it won't do that much damage due to its low calorie.
Yep, exactly. Well, first off, you should eat any indulgence in moderation. Sure, Halo Top is a nutritionally much better alternative if that you were to eat a different pint of ice cream such as Ben & Jerry's, but just because you can does not mean that you should, especially since some actually don't like the mousse-like texture of Halo Top. And second, considering that light ice cream is still ice cream, which is a highly processed product with sweeteners, even if you're still getting a healthier version, it does not change the fact that ice cream is still a treat and should be eaten in moderation along with a healthy diet.
Great point, Dr. Pronin. Now tell us a little bit more about what is actually in the product that makes it such a lower amount in sugar and calories and higher in protein while filling a whole pint of ice cream.
Well, first of all, in this more expensive product, Halo Top actually uses air to get that whipped texture. So it's just creating a lightened version of traditional ice cream. So instead of cream as well, they use skim milk, milk protein concentrate, which they add to it, which ends up being just a highly processed ice cream. But instead of sugar or corn syrup, like in traditional ice cream, Halo Top uses stevia, erythritol, and prebiotic fiber for sweetness. These sweeteners are considered 0 calorie, so they don't add to the calorie content, which makes the ice cream lower calorie because our body does not metabolize them, nor do they cause our blood sugar to spike. So for this reason, I do recommend Halo Top for diabetics, some of my clients, but keep in mind that though these sweeteners are generally considered safe, excessive consumption of sugar alcohols like erythritol can cause gastrointestinal issues in some people. So for this reason, and of course the obvious point of moderation, I really don't recommend that you need to eat the whole pint. And with that said, my general recommendations to my clients is that you should just get an ice cream that you enjoy and eat a little bit to satisfy your craving. Be mindful about your cravings and satisfy them instead of mindlessly eating something just because it appears to be as healthier. If you truly prefer Halo Top, sure, it is a healthier alternative, But remember, it's still an ice cream.
Thank you, Dr. Cronin, for that valuable information. This really resonated with me because someone wise once told me that the dose makes the poison. And I want to thank the rest of our panel of experts for shedding light on an important topic today. And to our viewers at home, please keep in mind all that you heard today when you're cruising through the grocery store.
That's all for tonight, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the Nutrition News Network, Triple N.
Thank you. Okay. I appreciated that. Oh, Tyra, you said you sent me the link to
Yeah,
your.
I emailed it to you this morning.
All right, let me find it. Let me see what time it is. Okay, so I know that class is just about over. I'm gonna stick around because I don't have anywhere else to go. I wanna watch these. You're welcome to stay if you have other things to do. I understand, and I will watch everything. So if you're leaving, see you. If you're staying, yay. All right, well, let me see you staying first.
Professor, I'm gonna play, can I play our video now so you can watch it?
Did you send it to me?
The thing is that, because we couldn't edit, because Zoom records everything, so it's just easier for us to play it for you.
If you want to play it for me, fine. And Tyra, who's already left, I will watch your PowerPoint. I will see what you sent me. So sure, yeah, let's.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah, no worries.
Tyra, are you okay with that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I learned a lot from doing this and how to try to bide the time for next time I do it. So, okay, show me.
My offer would be $150,000 also.
Bless you.
Thank you. Okay.
Picking up where we left off. I have a sound issue.
Ale, no se escucha.
You can't hear it?
No, I can't.
When you share, you have to click on the bottom left, share audio as well.
Yeah. Do you see the button, Alejandra?
So like stop sharing and then, And then you can share computer sound.
Learning for all of us.
Hey guys, welcome to group therapy. My name is Yael.
Hi,
Yael.
And my name is Vicky.
Hi, Vicky. So we know you guys are experiencing problems relating to food consumption, and we want to help you figure out what's going on. We're here to help you, so we want to make sure you guys ask your most important questions. Does anyone want to get started?
Hi, my name is Gabby.
Hi.
Gabby.
Hi, Gabby.
I have been struggling a lot with emotional eating. I have a few questions.
Yeah, I'd love to answer them for you, but do you mind just turning on your camera?
Yeah, I didn't want to be here. I'm in one of my moods again, but sure.
Okay, I think it's going to be really helpful.
My first question is related to that. So, why do I crave sweets and fats when I'm feeling down? It gives me a temporary mood boost, but afterwards I go back to feeling down the way I do right now.
Yeah, so a lot of people tend to experience this. So physiologically, the intake of sugar and fats can temporarily relieve negative moods through stimulation of dopamine pathways and the endogenous opioid receptor system. However, constant reliance on fats and sugars for short mood boosts may lead to depressed moods in the long term. Instead, eating fruits and vegetables should improve long-term mental health since they aid in the reduction of inflammatory and oxidative stress. I think this may be a good route for you.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to start eating my fruits and vegetables. But I also have another question. So going off that, I feel like I'm obsessed with eating, kind of like an addiction. Everyone I have spoken to has told me to simply stop eating unhealthy foods or to work out more. Yeah, those things help me with my weight, but I still have the constant urge to eat, and it's really hard to stop myself or maintain a diet for long periods of time.
Yeah, so again, a lot of people experience this. Our emotions are closely related to the habits we form in our daily lives. So, for example, someone who feels a burst of energy from running a mile will look forward to doing so because they expect to have that mood boost in serotonin levels. For this reason, many people may find themselves associating eating to various positive emotions, which traditionally was known to lead to overeating and obesity. In recent years, however, there has been an increase in focus on the role that addiction plays on obesity. Although previously addiction was most commonly associated with substance abuse, such as drugs or alcohol, there's a recent trend that stems from the theory that addiction can be conceptualized as loss of control over intake for a particular substance or behavior without the need to focus purely on psychoactive substances. So similar to what you're experiencing, someone who suffers from overeating is usually placed on an exercise plan and/or diet in order to bring them back to healthy weight for their body. However, research shows that this approach has poor success rates and is not a sustainable method of someone who's addicted to food, so relationship with food, because it treats the outcome of overeating and not the underlying cause. So the positive relationship between patients who display actions of self-control and those who successfully stay on an exercise and diet plan may lead doctors to a more efficient way of treating overeating and obesity. So my recommendation to you is to work towards improving your impulse control, and that way you might be able to stick to a weight loss plan more effectively in the long run.
Great. I'm going to start working on that. Thank you.
Hi, I have a question. I'm Annie.
Hi,
Annie. Hi, Annie.
So I am eating too much when I know I have a big assignment coming up or when I'm waiting for important news. Why is this happening to me?
Hi, Annie. So, great question. Actually, what you're going through is something called stress, which is defined as a reaction that occurs when there's a change that entails an alteration or response. In turn, your body responds and reacts in a physical, mental, or emotional manner, leading to more eating. This said, you can experience stress because of the environment you're going through, body changes, and thoughts.
But why am I eating when I get stressed?
So according to research, stress is a significant instigator of poor eating behaviors, which means that stress can cause poor nutritional and food decisions, such as overeating. One main reason as to why stress usually leads to poor nutritional and food decisions is because of the hormones it causes the body to release. According to an article published by Harvard Health Publishing, the adrenal gland releases another hormone called cortisol, and cortisol increases appetite and may also ramp up motivation in general, including the motivation to eat. Furthermore, high levels of cortisol may not only lead to increased motivation to eat, but they can also lead to food preferences that one may have. But Annie, I see you really stressed, biting your nails and studying even during our session. Try to take it one day at a time and see if you feel a little better.
Thank you, Yael. I'll take that into consideration.
Hi guys, I'm Alejandra.
Hi, Alejandra.
I have a serious problem with food. Especially when I'm in my period, like right now, I just can't stop eating, especially chocolates, ice cream, everything that contains sugars that I normally don't eat in my daily diet. Why is this happening to me?
Hi, Alejandra. So, to explain this a little bit in detail, well, for ice cream, milk is the main ingredient, which is rich in L-tryptophan, which is a natural tranquilizer that offers relaxation to the nervous system. Thus, the consumption of ice cream can help reduce sadness, depression, stress, anxiety, and even symptoms of insomnia. But while hormones are often to blame, the media also has a role in creating the cultural norm, of consuming sugary items to feel better. Like any other sugary food, chocolates also produce dopamine in our brain, leading to feelings of pleasure. However, the main reason why you're craving chocolate when you want to indulge yourself during the menstruation period, it's only because of a cultural factor. As we see in movies, advertisements, magazines, and more, the American culture associates chocolates with women eating their feelings. It's all in your head.
That's very true. In every rom-com, I just see a woman crying and eating a thing of ice cream.
Next time, just take your chocolates, hide them, and I'm sure you'll feel a lot better when you have your period.
Yeah, another thing that also happens to me is carbs. I just want to eat so many carbs when I'm on my period. Like vegetables, what are those? I just want a bowl of pasta.
Yeah, so that's also really common. So during this period, the stress hormone estrogen and cortisol fluctuate. As mentioned earlier, appetites increase when cortisol levels are high. The food that are craved, however, depend on serotonin. If one experiences a drop in serotonin levels, carbohydrates are craved as they produce serotonin. Another factor to overeating during menstruation is because we tend to gain some pounds and bloat. Therefore, we feel demotivated and want to break the diet that we had going on. This creates a vicious cycle in which people turn to unhealthy foods to comfort themselves.
That's right. I always feel irritable and bloated, and I'm just like, I just want to lay in bed and eat and eat. So yeah, comfort food.
Exactly.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, Annie?
So I have another question. How can we maintain a healthy relationship with food?
That's a great question because developing a nourishing relationship with food is as much, if not more, about how we eat than what we eat. So mindful eating is capable of changing eating behaviors, such as emotional eating and potentially controlling food cravings and addictions, which all of you are going through. By paying attention and recognizing current eating habits, you will be able to appreciate each meal with full awareness, encouraging trust in the decision-making process rather than being limited by regulations about what and when to eat. In other words, the mindful eating approach focuses on helping those with eating disorders to enjoy their experience with food and be fully present in that moment.
I have tried mindful eating and it is very much like therapy. Are there any strategies I can apply to savor the food more and struggle less with controlling my eating?
Well, yeah, for starters, you must identify emotions before, during, and after meals. This will help you focus only on eating. You will have to slow down, engage your senses, incorporate pleasure, and navigate all triggers. Thus, mindful eating will serve as a therapy-enhancing tool that can guide clinicians to focus their work and help patients to develop better strategies for self-regulation, let go of unnecessary clinging, and actively change their behavior and move forward towards recovery. Overall, practicing mindful eating shows promise not only for short-term behavior change, but also for motivational and psychological changes that can build a basis for sustainable change.
Thank you, Vicky. That was really helpful.
Of course, anytime. But okay, guys, time is up. We hope that was really helpful for you. But if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We're always here to help.
Thank you guys for your help.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Professor, that was it for our video, but we wanted to know if you also wanted to see the Kahoot or should we send it to you?
If you want to show it to me, that's fine. I mean, I'm here. I'm not, going anywhere. So if you want to show it to me, yeah.
Perfect. I think, yeah, it could.
Sure, I could share my screen. I just feel bad for the other group if they have to wait. I don't know what.
Oh, right. Alcohol, yeah, I mean, I should play it.
Professor, I just wanted to know do we need to wait or would you be able to see our video? Because I have another class to attend.
Go. No, you should go. No, you
All
should
right.
stay. No, of course you go.
All right. Thank you, Professor. So you're just going to have a look at our video after this, right?
That's fine. Yeah. Sure, don't worry about it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So yeah, why don't I play that? I mean, if you folks want to show me your Kahoot quiz, of course I want to see it, but I don't want to keep other folks around. So Tyra, let me share my screen and get to your brain shark. Because I don't know what a brain shark is. Let's see. Whoops, wait, maybe I need to open it first. Hold on. Let me unshare. Find my, whoops, my email. When did you send? Oh, here it is. Okay. Does it run on its own?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So it's basically just like an automated presentation.
Oh, cool. All right. Now I'll share while it's loading. See, I learned so much from you folks.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Alcohol 101. My name is Tyra, and today I will be joined by my colleagues, Kevin, HV, and Magna.
Let me just pause. Can you all hear it?
Here is a brief overview of what we will be covering today. We will learn about drinking statistics, followed by how alcohol can affect your body.
Sorry, I got lost. Can you hear it? Okay. Where did it go? There.
But first, let's start off with a Kahoot. I will ask for you to kindly pause the video as we will send the link in the chat.
Oh, what should I do?
You can just ignore that.
Okay, I'll ignore it.
Let's start with some general statistics on alcohol consumption in the United States. In the US, it is estimated that 85.6% of people over the age of 18 drank alcohol at least once in their lifetime. 69.5% drank in the past year and 54.9% drank in the past month. Alcohol usage may lead to alcohol use disorder and alcohol-related deaths. Besides the individual consumer, alcohol consumption can cause economic burdens and have family consequences. In 2010, alcohol misuse cost $249 billion. According to a 2012 study, more than 10% of U.S. children live with a parent with alcohol problems. Hopefully, you just learned some interesting and surprising statistics about alcohol consumption.
So as a group, we conducted some research to find statistics of college students and their drinking patterns. And if the class had to guess what percent of college students consume alcohol to some degree, what would your guess be? The answer is 80% of all college students going to American universities consume alcohol to some degree. And as college students ourselves, when we go to bars and other parties, we know that this is not a number we are really surprised of. However, a surprising stat is that 50% of these students that consume alcohol to some degree engaged in binge drinking. For those of you who don't know what binge drinking is excessive consumption of alcohol. It's when people have regular patterns or a schedule of consuming alcohol on a regular basis. To quantify this, studies suggest that consuming 5 drinks per every 2 hours for men and 4 drinks in every 2 hours for females respectively is considered binge drinking. While some may not take binge drinking as to be a serious problem, another surprising statistic suggests that each year 1,400 college students die from binge drinking, as mentioned in a video published by the Health Guru.
Once again, alcohol consumption is a major problem in the US, especially amongst college students. Alcohol consumption impacts student performance in school. 1 of 4 students report experiencing academic difficulties from drinking, which is defined by missing class and falling behind on schoolwork. Students who binge drink alcohol at least 3 times a week were around 6 times more likely to perform poorly on a test or project, as compared to students who drank but never binged. Students who binge drink were also 5 times more likely to have missed a class. This problem is not limited to the individual consumer. It affects those around them. In the most recent annual report, 1,519 students died from alcohol-related unintentional injuries. This impacts not only the student's immediate family, but also other students. Within the college environment, the latest annual report shows that 696,000 students were assaulted by another student who has been drinking. About 97,000 students reported alcohol-related sexual assault or date rape.
The reason we discussed a few statistics and facts about college kids and binge drinking is because the statistics show that many college kids consider drinking to be a recreational activity. However, very few pay attention to the effects alcohol has on the body. To be specific, with the digestive system. The digestive system is a long process that involves many organs. It starts from your mouth, then the throat, along the esophagus, transporting food into different organs like the stomach, intestines, and liver, each of which perform their own functions that help with the digestion of food. When we consume alcohol, the ethanol travels along the same GI tract and hence comes in contact with majority of the involved organs. While consuming alcohol once in a while may not be harmful, binge drinking on the other hand could be harmful to the GI tract. Unlike other nutrients, the system works extra hard to eliminate alcohol from the body, prioritizing it ahead of carbs, lipids, and proteins. Starting with the mouth and the throat, alcohol penetrates your mouth's saliva and when converted to acetaldehyde can damage the tissues in your mouth. A study conducted in Britain found that 1 out of every 3 throat cancers were caused by binge drinking of alcohol. In the esophagus lining as well, alcohol weakens the cells. This may lead to inflammation and also acid reflux, where the stomach contents come back into the esophagus. The stomach is a vital organ in digestion as it breaks down the food chemically with the help of the acid it produces. However, when a person engages in binge drinking, alcohol in the stomach affects this acid production in the stomach, making it harder to destroy bacteria, some of which may be passed on to the duodenum as well. The stomach lining also consists of mucous cells, whose function is to protect the stomach wall from various enzymes and acids. Regular drinking can damage these mucous cells and this in turn could lead to inflammation and lesions.
The liver is an essential organ with multiple life-supporting functions and processes over 90% of consumed alcohol. The rest exits the body via urine, sweat, and breathing. The liver breaks down and filters out harmful substances in the body and manufactures proteins, enzymes, and hormones, which the body uses to ward off infections. It converts vitamins, nutrients, and medicines into substances that our bodies can use. The liver is also responsible for cleaning our blood, producing bile for digestion, and storing glycogen for energy. As alcohol is broken down in the liver, a number of potentially dangerous byproducts are generated. Heavy drinkers face a higher risk of developing a range of liver diseases opposed to moderate drinkers. As many as 20% of heavy drinkers develop fatty liver disease. Although fatty liver disease is typically reversible, alcoholic hepatitis, inflammation that causes liver degeneration, can further develop into cirrhosis and may even be fatal. However, this is too reversible. Now moving on to the different types of diseases as we just discussed. A fatty liver is when fat builds up and stops it from functioning properly. A healthy liver contains a small amount of fat. It becomes a problem when fat reaches 5 to 10% of your liver's weight. Hepatitis is developed from the inflammation of the liver. Excessive alcohol consumption can cause liver damage and this type of inflammation. This is sometimes referred to as alcoholic hepatitis. The alcohol directly injures the cells of your liver. Alcoholic cirrhosis is an advanced stage of alcoholic liver disease that causes your liver to become stiff, swollen, and barely able to do its job. So I know pregnancy might not seem that common across your demographic, especially during college. However, in different areas across the world or even in our country, it can happen. Just to start off with a few statistics, over 2 million college-aged women from 18 to 24 become pregnant each year, and also about 20% of undergraduate students are parents. Unintended pregnancy rates are also highest among low-income and minority women. The risk of drinking during pregnancy can be extremely bad because a lot of these pregnancies are unexpected. Drinking alcohol at any stage during pregnancy can affect the development of an unborn baby, as alcohol passes through the placenta from the blood of the mother to the fetus. The most extreme consequence of alcohol affecting the fetus is miscarriage or stillbirth. In other cases, the baby can be born with significant permanent effects. The range of effects on a child caused by alcohol is called fetal alcohol syndrome disorder. These effects include premature birth, restricted growth, birth defects, brain damage, developmental delay,
and social, emotional, behavior, and mental deficits. In older children, this can manifest a lower IQ score, poor social skills, inattention, and problems with aggressive and impulsive behavior. There is no known safe level for using alcohol during any stage of pregnancy. It is advised that any woman who is pregnant or wishing to get pregnant should not drink alcohol. Alcohol should also be avoided while breastfeeding, as alcohol can pass through the milk to the baby and affect development.
Stay safe and drink responsibly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Did you want to do your, folks can go if they're ready. Or did you want to do your, thank you, Tyra. Thank you for Kevin. Thanks, folks, for Meghna.
No worries. I'll just send you the Kahoot in a link.
That's fine. Thank you. And did you want to show me your Kahoot quiz?
You want us to show it to you, or are we keeping you too long? Whatever you prefer.
Let's see. I have a student from Bentley coming in at 12:30, so I'm here.
Okay.
Show me.
I'll share my
phone. I want to play.
I don't know how to share. I don't know if I have the, oh, here, okay. So, I guess we could all play.
Yeah, well then there's no way I'm going to win. All right, let's see. Study close. So I want a new one. Pin, enter pin.
I'll do the Kahoot just for just since I'm here.
978-7914. Okay. Oh, I forgot to put my name in. Never mind.
I think we're just waiting for Meghna and Tyra.
Okay.
The music was annoying me.
It's okay.
Okay, should we just get started?
Sure.
Okay. So the first question is, what does PMS stand for? Good job.
Good job.
Awesome. Oh, so it also takes into account how quickly you answer.
Yeah,
So the hormone released by stress is called what? Awesome. So what is emotional eating? Ooh, Pepe, you're in the lead. So what are strategies for a mindful-based diet? Okay. So true or false? Sugars and fats relieve negative moods long term.
Zillow fair.
What should you eat to improve long-term mental health?
Everything. What? Aw.
Okay. So Stress leads to overeating because of the hormones it causes the body to release. True or false? Okay, this is mindful eating. I just couldn't fit it in the word count. Focuses on helping those with eating disorders to enjoy their experience with food and be present in the moment. True or false? So true or false, you should seek help if you feel like you want to improve your relationship with food. True or false? I think that's all.
Okay.
Oh, one more. Multi-select. So you select all of them that are true. What foods could Alejandra not stop eating?
I see.
Amazing. Let's see who won.
So that's how it's.
Good job, guys.
So did it tell you, like, do you have to do 10 questions or could you pick how many questions you wanted?
No, you could pick how many.
Okay, because I think when I do this again, I'll tell folks to do 5 questions.
Yeah.
Thanks for teaching me about this.
Of course.
All right. Well,
Perfect.
thanks for your patience and
Professor, I have another class, so I have to leave.
yes, absolutely.
Guys.
All
Thank
right.
you, Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Professor.
Oops, unrecord. Stop recording.
Also, I have another question I just realized.
It's okay.
For